live. Do we have a song you want?
No, I think we're good. Whatever you choose.
Okay, perfect. Because I believe we need a song today. Like it's been crazy. It's been so crazy.
Crazy day.
It's been crazy. Let me just make sure we are live in my group. Where is it? Hello, ladies. Hello. How are you doing?
Hello. Good. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. You're doing amazing. Everyone's doing amazing.
All good.
Okay, let me just make sure again. Okay, popped it. Yes. Okay, perfect. We are live.
We're live. We made it.
Ladies, thank you so much. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Holy moly, guacamole. Today has been a day of not helping. The universe is not providing right now, but it's okay. We are doing the thing. We're showing up for you. Zoom has been a little pain. Facebook has been a pain. No service, but that's okay. We're still doing it no matter what. We want this to be the best experience for you. So here we are. Miss Jess, I'm so excited you are here. Thank you so much, Mrs. Jess. How are you doing?
Thank you. It's so good. Thank you so much for having me.
Yay, I'm so excited. So before we even get started, I just want to rise up to our beautiful, what do we feel today, like the music and the song, and I just want to rise up because earlier we couldn't do it and all the things happened. So I'm so excited just to even be here right now with you live because we couldn't do it at 12. So I'm gonna put this beautiful song on, which I love so much. We're just gonna, I like the, let's see if we could do the, and everyone popping on, say hello, let me know how you're doing. What's your vibe for today? It's like one of my favorite songs.
Love it.
We're beautiful now. We're beautiful now. I love it, ladies. I love it. Oh, my beautiful Jess, I am so happy you're here with me right now. Jess is an energetic alignment coach for women in business. She helps ambitious women prioritize and implement the deep inner work so that their greatest passions and purpose are shared boldly and unapologetically with the world, creating roots and impact with positivity. And I'm just so happy. I actually met Jess through Melanie and Layer and through different networks, right? And it has been an amazing journey. It feels like a lifetime ago, but it also feels like a moment ago since we've met, right?
So true.
And it's so funny because you feel that energy, you feel the vibe of people, right? But it's all like online, and it's so cool to have this, and it's so cool to have you with us today. So thank you so much for being here with us, and I can't wait to hear what you have stored for us today. She's going to be talking about aligning with the magic of the universe, and that just sounds like such a juicy topic.
So true. Thank you so much for having me here. It's such a pleasure to be in this space. I've realized that going through Zoom, I can't see comments. So if anything
I got you, woman.
Say hello. Let me know that you all are here. This is amazing and incredible, and I'm just so honored to be part of this. So thank you for organizing and bringing all these amazing, incredible, and powerful women together, because that's what it's all about. It's just like that community, that connection, that power, just rising up in our power together. It's just
exactly. And it just sounds so good. It's like rising to our power. Here we are. We're rising to our power. This is us.
Yes, 100%. And just like you were saying, we met kind of in that Melanie and Lair space, but so much has happened beyond that space. And I'm just so grateful for that container for pulling us together. And it's amazing when you can see the power that happens within a container like that, and how these kind of things can branch off, and we can be here doing an incredible summit and, all the things. So
yes, I love it. And it lights me up too, because we're able to do this together, and we're able to, and the women that are all in the summit, it's just like, they're just so powerful and they're amazing. And all of you just carry so much power. And I'm just so
Mhm.
over the moon excited to just hear everything you're going to talk about.
Thank you. Okay, so where shall I begin? So I'm actually currently, to give you guys an idea of where I'm at, just because I'm not really sure if the internet connection is going to hold out for the entire time. So yeah, we're crossing our fingers and toes. I mean, we're here, so that's half the battle. We got on live, so that is good. I am currently, you can see behind me, these are camping curtains. We are
Mm-hmm.
out camping. We've just arrived to the campsite, got everything set up, and we're here. So this is a first for our family. We haven't done this before. We actually just purchased this camping trailer a few weeks ago. And so this
That's
is our
so
first trip. So
awesome.
I I currently live in Ontario, Canada. And so we went kind of up north Ontario, Canada, about 3 hours to get here. And my kids and my husband and my dog are all off exploring while we do this incredible interview. So thank you so much for being willing to come on the road with me, all of you, and
This
try
is
something from a different
awesome.
space.
I had
Yeah,
no idea. That's so cool.
yes. So I'm coming from nature, literally
Yes.
between all the trees. And we actually live among the trees. We live out on a farm. And so this is kind of not too far from our normal habitat, but it's just a different space away from home. So,
Exactly, exactly. But I'm
yeah.
so excited you are here right now with us. And
Yeah.
I know that because you were telling me, like, oh, we were going to do this in the beginning of the week, and then it started raining, all the things, but you
Yeah.
were able to come on, and I know it's going to hold, it's going to hold, it's going to hold.
It's going to hold. Yes. We had to move our trip. So we started today instead of Monday. But this is gonna work. So
Yes, it is.
today, as Melissa talked about, I want to talk about aligning with the magic of the universe. I think
Mm,
that, it does sound like a beautiful topic, and it absolutely is. But I think the important thing to recognize is, like, it's not always sunshines and unicorns and rainbows and all the things. And so sometimes we have to move through things that aren't as nice to get to the
mm,
bliss that we desire. And, for me, it's always been about just trusting and
mm,
letting the
mm,
path unfold for me. And my personal belief is that the path is kind of laid out for us, but we do have choice in there. We have choice in how it all unfolds for us. And that is the beautiful part of it is, how we respond changes what happens in the future and changes where we end up. And, I would have never known even, I mean, I guess you've been planning this for a few months, but 6 months ago, I would have never known that we would be sitting here doing this. So it's just amazing that when you're open to incredible opportunities, they come your way. And
exactly,
it's so
exactly.
beautiful.
And it is so beautiful. It is so amazing, so beautiful what can happen when you're just like, I'm here, I'm open to this, and I'm opening to the magic of the universe.
100%. And, it's really about clearing that path for yourself and clearing all of the things that are standing in your way in order to get to the ultimate destination that you desire. And
Mm,
sometimes we don't know what that destination looks like. Sometimes we have an idea in our mind of what it'll look like when we get there. And when we get there, it's like, okay, this is not what I thought this was going to be. And, I think so often people have this marker of happiness, a marker of success. When I get to this milestone, then I can be happy. When I get to this
yes,
milestone, then I will be successful. It's like this thing that's like out in the future that isn't right where we are now. And so a lot of my work is about really diving in deep and finding those roots of where you are now and how we can maximize your experience within this certain stage, because everything things move all the time. Things are constantly moving. And when we can hold that space, that energy for ourselves, then that's where the miracles and that's where the magic happens. And
mm,
when we can recognize those patterns and those blocks and those things that are holding us back, and move through them, that's when we can achieve ultimate freedom.
I love that. So where would you even start with that, right? Like that's what you
Mhm.
desire, right? That's the alignment with the magic. And that's the magic, but how do you get into the alignment of that?
It's a lot of work sometimes. I'm not here to sugarcoat and say that it's not. I mean, there are so many things that have made us who we are today, past experiences, how we were raised, our culture, our family dynamics, our children, our spouse, our past boyfriends, relationships, all of the things have really
Mm,
shaped us who we are into who we are. And so the lens through which we see life looks a little bit different depending on where we are in those stages. And so sometimes we need to dial it back to, when was the first memory of this specific thing and how this is showing up in my life? What patterns or beliefs have I adopted because someone else told me that I should, or because I
mm,
believed that I should?
that should, that
The
big,
should.
big word. It's
Yes.
so simple, yet such a big, impactful word. The
Mhm.
should.
The should. The
Mm,
should is huge, right?
mm-hmm.
And, I think all of us, we have this like desire to, we want people to like us. We want them to be happy with what we're doing. We want, there's, I mean, if you're in this space and you're, connected to Melissa and the women here, like we're all here to do good in the world. We want people to look at us and see us in a certain way. And, sometimes we bend and flex our boundaries a little because we want people to be happy with what we're doing. And
Mm-hmm.
what I've realized is when I'm doing things from a place of should, it doesn't feel good.
It
It doesn't
doesn't
feel
feel
good at
good.
all.
It doesn't feel good. Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's not what you desire, it's not what you want. And that is like the really big piece, right? Of being like, this is not what I desire, this is not what I want. So when if you would go back to for you, when did
Mhm.
you start really like being like, okay, I'm no longer shooting myself? Like what was the change for you? What was it that was like, I'm done
Yeah.
shooting?
I think that um there's still some times where I fall into that pattern. There's still some times even now where I have to stop myself and say, okay, is this something that I truly desire or is this a should? Um, because I think, those roots run really deep, and years and years and years and years of us doing things that we think that we should, it's not going to be something that gets undone in just making that decision. I mean, we have so much power in the decisions we make, and I've come a long way in terms of the shoulding, and there's very few things that I actually come from that place of should
Mm-hmm.
now. But I would say it's over the years, it's all of my time in business, all of my time in personal development. I mean, so a little bit of background and history for me. I'm a registered nurse. I've been a nurse for 12 years. And
Holy
for
moly.
the first 4 years of that, I was a full-time nurse and I didn't have a business. I didn't really know the world of business. I didn't know what any of this was. Like this, it was a totally foreign concept to me. I thought I would work for 30 years, I would get my pension, I would retire, and that would be it.
Mm-hmm.
And, I didn't even know that this outside, kind of other world existed online, and this other world of business existed. I mean, both my parents are entrepreneurs. My mom owns a moving company and my dad installs windows and doors, but the kind of message from them was always, don't have your own business
Yes.
because businesses are
Hard.
hard. Yeah, businesses are hard. You have to work all the time. You have to, you know, you don't make a lot of money. So those kind of patterns. So it was never really in my realm of possibility that I would even create a business or desire to create a business. So when it kind of opportunity fell in my lap during that time, I resisted it for a really long time. And then B, I think, you know, it opened up this whole realm of personal development that I also didn't know was a thing.
Yes, yes.
And
And that
so
changes. That is like a whole
changes
game
everything.
changer, right? You're like, wait a minute, I thought I was doing so good. You're
Yeah.
like, I thought I was doing so good with my life, and you're telling me that this is just the surface? This is just the level surface of this? What do you mean?
Yeah.
So where did you start? Where did you start with your own personal development? And you were just like, I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, so it's interesting because for me to like go back, it's really hard to like rewind 8 years and try to figure
Yes.
out, you know, what was that defining moment. But I think for me, you know, I started in the network marketing path, and I was I actually had some neck and back injuries at the time. And so a friend introduced
Mm,
me to a product, and I started using the product, and then I started, you know, naturally sharing the product because people wanted to know. And then it became this business. And then what I realized was once I got into that, I mean, I still use and love the product to this day, but it wasn't my focus. What I really loved was the
mm,
mentoring, the coaching, the supporting, the growing a team, all of those
mm,
pieces of it. And so
mm,
I started to read books. I started to download every single possible free resource. I started to go to webinars. I started to do all the things that you do in the beginning of business, purchase courses, programs, trainings, follow coaches, like all of the things. And for a really long time, I was in the consumption mode, like constantly consuming everybody's things. And I mean, I learned a ton and it served me for a really long time. But ultimately, it was like going and doing that deep inner work that I was able to rise as a leader, able to rise in my power and show up and do things and navigate life differently. Because, you know,
mm,
it's so easy to consume and to just
mm.
try to
Yes,
do things the way other people are doing. And what I realized
yes.
again was that we need to blaze a new trail for ourselves. Like we can't, you know, copycat someone's strategy or do things the way that it works for them, because again, ultimately it's a should. I
Yes,
should I should do it this way because they did it this way and they were successful.
exactly. And that ties really well with wellness and really ties well with like because at the end of the day, it's crazy because we see wellness or women or people overall say like wellness is not like they just see it. I know it's like a because it is too self-development is like a big trillion. I don't even know how much. Imagine like how much we make out of self-development. But at the end of the day,
Mhm.
it's growth, right? It's like personal growth. And wellness is the same way. It's like wanting to and desiring to be healthier, to rise to your power, that's self-development. But what I've seen is that there's so much noise out there, right? And so much, we consume so much of it that we're like, we're never going to be better. We're never going to be well. When it's the total opposite. It's like, oh, you consume, we consume, right? But then it's like, we also have to work on like, are we even worthy of even feeling this way for us? Like, are we even worthy of finding the body? We're even worthy of even eating the food and buying organic, right? You're like, I never was like worthy of it. Am I even worthy of even having this crazy idea and starting my own like business? Is that even a thing? Like, should I even do that? Like, is that crazy, right? So Mandy says as well. She's like, we can get so caught up with in the consuming, thinking we need more to feel worthy, and that is
Yes.
so true, right? Like really being like, oh my gosh, am I even what am I doing? Is it crazy or am I crazy? Like what's happening, right? And you're like, if I'm desiring this, should I even desire it?
Yes. Absolutely. And it comes down to the feeling of enoughness. Like
Mm,
enoughness is something that I talk about a lot. And it's, you know, one of the like things that I always write is you are strong, you are powerful, you are enough. And
yes.
the enoughness piece is something that, you know, there's kind of two dualities with it. Number one is like believing you are enough as a human. and your work is powerful in the world and what you're meant to do here, and you know, the things that you do in your day-to-day life, like that being enough. And then the other thing is, you know, like enough, like when is enough enough? And that goes to like the consuming piece for me. It's like, you know, when do you just stop and break that cycle and start to dive deeper into yourself and work through those energetic blocks and move through the things that really matter? Because when we have all of these things that we're consuming and all of these things that we're looking at, it's just like piling a blanket, for lack of a better term, just like piling things over top of you so that you feel protected and safe. But really, ultimately, it's not getting you the desired result. And you're just going to keep going through that loop and that pattern because you feel like you need something outside of yourself in order to be enough as you are.
Yes, yes, I feel that so much. And I feel that when it comes to just self-growth overall, right? Like and we're like, okay, I want to do this. And it's funny enough because we start this and we're like, oh, I desire the body or I desire the business. And you're just like, I'm just going to go do it. And then you start doing, you're like, oh man, I was not ready for this ride. Because it's like, oh, wait, just kidding. Like the workouts might not work, or maybe you're not releasing the weight the way you wanted to. Maybe you're not getting the clientele that you wanted to. So you're like, wait a minute, what just happened? How can I even align myself again? And a lot of times we don't even think of the word alignment because we don't know it energetically. But that is like the key, like a really big piece, because a lot of the clients that come to my world, a lot of the women that come to your world too, it's like, oh, I desire this, right? But they're like, I didn't know that this was going to be this hard.
Right.
I thought I was just going to get there and that's it.
Yeah. It's like there's a meme or photo or something. It's like, I like point A is here, point B is here. I thought it was going to be like this. And then it's like, this is the real path. And that
Exactly.
is
Yes.
so true, right? It's, you know, it's not a point A to point B type thing. There's so many detours and so many things that happen along the way. But ultimately, those squiggles and things that happen along the way are the path that's meant for you in order to get to the destination. And the destination B might not actually be, it's very windy. Destination B might not actually be where you're ultimately desiring once you move down the path. You might think, oh, I thought it was B, but actually it's C. I thought I wanted
Yes.
this, but I actually wanted that.
Yes, I feel that too. And it's like, this is where you go into more deep knowing within yourself, and deep, like you get that intuition, and you feel that intuition deeper than anything before, right? Or anything, because you're like, I'm diving deeper into myself, right? It's no longer about just desiring that thing, that outcome, but it's really diving deeper into like, what do I like? This is not what I wanted. What else did I want, right? And I think, and I believe this is where we're really falling behind when it comes to wellness, when it comes to even self-growth. We're like, well, this is the shiny thing, this is a shiny object, right? And this is the shiny result. Here you go, you can have it. The body, you can have the business, you can have all the things, and then you're like, okay, I want that. So you consume and consume and consume and consume, but then you forget to just dive deeper within yourself.
100%. Absolutely. Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah. And I think too, the thing that keeps coming up for me is, you know, my pillar is always, how do I want to feel? You can have all the success of whatever B thing is, you know, for me in my business for the longest time, probably for 7 years, I thought 10K months was where it was at. When you got to 10K months, you were successful. When you know, that number was a thing that I held in my mind so tightly as, you know, the thing that was so far from where I was to strive to reach for, to attain. And that was when you got that feeling of success. And what I realized along the way is that it needed to feel good in order to have that level of success. Like if I was hustling my ass off, not working, working day and night, not doing things that were in alignment to get to that 10K, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it to me.
Yes, yes, I feel that. I feel that. And that goes with like, and ladies, I know she's talking about business, right? But in the aspect, think of it because at the end of the day, this is wellness, right? So think of it in the sense of also the number on a scale, right? The number on the
Totally.
scale, or the weight, or the number of weight you want to lift, anything like that, or what you're trying to do. You're like, oh, I'll be successful when I do this.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But as Jess is saying, is you become in the process, you become and you align for the desire, but you align in the middle. It's not the A and B and it just happens and it's just like, hey, I'm here. It's really you become in this like squiggly or like all lines everywhere, right? That's where you become that point. And even when you get there, you're like, look at that. Maybe I didn't want that at all, or I wanted something else. And I now I desire something different in that aspect.
Totally. And so let's use the example of weight loss for an example. So if, your goal is 150 pounds and you are 200 pounds now, you have like, this gap between where you are and where you desire to be. So you have this 50-pound difference. But in order to get there, if you have to starve yourself or, eat small portions or eat a salad every day for lunch and you hate salad, like if you're got to do all the things that you hate to get to 150 pounds, you're not enjoying the journey. And
exactly
how it manifests in our body is going to hold us to, like, we're going to hold on to that weight so much more if we're not enjoying the journey.
Yes, and I
And
feel
it's just
that.
like everything.
I feel that. Yes, and that's so true because the big like you were talking about it because we can talk about it when you comes to weight, but even Mandy says I'll be successful and worthy when I can wear my old jeans.
Yeah,
right? But like
exactly.
having that mentality, like, oh, I want to get there, and I have had clients in the past. It's like, oh, I've been there before. I know how it is, so I want to get there because that's where I felt good, or that's where I felt successful. And then you're just like, well, you're different now. You're a total different person, right?
Totally
you don't
different.
even know how it is. Like maybe you were not in the game anymore, right? And you stopped being in your business and you can't come back now. You're like, wait a minute, that just totally changed. Like, for example, like with your parents, right? Your parents have never done the social media, right? But they were like, it was really hard in person. It was really hard getting referrals. It was really tough. Like you do all these ads and all these things. And then you very bravely went into your power, rose to it. And you were like, hey, I know that was really tough for you, but hey, I'm going to do it my way. And you're doing it your way.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're doing it your way.
It doesn't have to, like, it can feel good during the journey, right? And that's what we desire. No one's like, okay, I want to build a business and I'm going to be miserable. No one's like, oh, I want to get into my jeans, my previous jeans, and I want to be miserable along the way. Like, no one wants that. But I think so often we hold on to these, future things that we want, and we think that we need to struggle or suffer to get there. And it doesn't work. It doesn't
work. Exactly. It doesn't work. And it's not, to me, I don't feel like that's not even worth it. I've been there before. I know how it is. And it's like the restriction isn't worth it. And then the question now comes to be, then how do you do it?
Right. Yeah. And so this is the thing, right? There's not a rule manual. There's not an instruction manual. There's not a follow step 1, 2, 3. I mean, we see stuff all the time on the internet, 3 steps to whatever it is that you desire. And so they sell, there's people out there that are crafty marketers that sell your A to Z solution to whatever it is that you desire. But ultimately, you know, that's the shiny object syndrome. That's the thing that we're like, ooh, I want that. Here, take my 555. Here, take my 333. Take my $3,000, you know, whatever
30,000,
it
yes.
is. You know, people out there, they want that. And so other people market to that because they know that people want that. But ultimately, my belief is, you know, I always want to support people no matter where they are in their journey. And whether it takes, you know, step A to Z, or it takes, you know, A to B, but A to C to F to whatever, you know, ultimately, it's all about what they desire. And I think, you know, we need to be mindful of our circumstances change all the time. You know, we have careers, we have children, we have spouses, we have, you know, moving houses, COVID, you know, all the things that, you know, you plan for and don't plan for that can actually change the path of what you want. And so, you know, when you're saying yes to something, it might be yes for right now, but then you might get halfway down the road and realize, oh, actually, that's not the way I want to go. I need to go backwards and go this way.
And I feel that so much.
Yeah.
I feel that so much.
Yeah.
Raising the hand. Yes. I feel that so much. Mandy says, yes, the shiny object syndrome, that takes less self-responsibility, right? And that goes for everyone, ladies, in the sense of, again, what do you desire? Like, and going back to it and really feeling like, hi, Miranda, how are you, beautiful woman?
Hi, gorgeous.
Going back to like, what do I desire and how do I want to feel, right? And that is the first step to aligning to the magic that you want to call in, ladies. And this is something that really I wish it was taught, that we wish it was taught, right? And now I believe that we are doing better by this, right? And I know that as you learn from this here as well, I feel like you will also do better with it, with your kids, with your family, everyone like that. But this was something that I wish we just always knew, you know, like we were since little, since babies, to know and ask ourselves, how do we feel? How do I want to feel? How do I want to feel? And ask ourselves these questions. Because when we get that answer, you can align more. You can really dig into it. You can really be like, this is my magic. This is where I'm going to sit in here.
Yeah. I'm really looking at it on all different levels, like my mind, my body, and my soul. Not just, you know, so often our ego speaks the loudest, right? What would make me feel best? But it's not about that. It's about really, like, truly, if I tap in and I really sink in, what is it that I desire? What is it that's going to make this be the most meaningful life possible?
Yes. And exactly. And ask, what do I desire? And that could look like, oh, me doing this and doing that. And maybe even something that, to the extent of, like, for example, like for me, it was not going back to the gym. And it was like doing it my way, like doing it at home, seeing how it was. It was also quitting the gym for me. It was like, I'm done. I am done, you know? And I was like, peace out, yo. And it was like, for me, that's how it looked like. And because I wanted not to all of these things that were on the outside to drown me anymore. It just felt drowning. It felt drowning. I couldn't even picture, like, oh my God, I gotta get. And I'm very grateful because the COVID hit and all that. So I wouldn't have been able to go to the gym. But who would have thought, you know? Who would have thought that just asking myself, what do I want or what do I feel? How do I want to feel would create such a ripple effect in my whole life, in my business, and what I desired for myself and my wellness, like all of it.
All of it. And I think, you know, COVID's a perfect example of, you know, everybody thought that going to the gym was the most secure thing. Everybody thought that their 9 to 5 was the most secure thing. Everybody thought that, you know, health, safety, like everything has been brought into question during this time.
Mm,
And the things that we thought were secure, the things that we thought were, you know, concrete,
yeah.
solid, have all been called into question now.
Yes, I
And,
feel that.
you know, people are opening up to new awareness, to new possibilities. Like, I can't tell you the number of people that I knew before that were like, I'm never going to do a business. And here they are, they're all just like popping up all over the woodwork. And, you know, I think that's a perfect example of, you know, we can't say that anything in our life is a complete non-possibility until we're faced with those circumstances. And I mean,
Mm,
a lot of my perspective in my life comes from being a nurse, and I work with cancer patients and their families. And we work with people who are, you know, adults, anything from 18 to 103.
mm,
And it's been, you know, it's shaped a lot of the way that I show up in life, and the lens that I wear is, you know, through that filter. And I worked as a nurse, I worked full time for 8 years, and I've been part time for the last, very part time now, but for the last 4 years. And, you know, being with those people and seeing how they wish they did things differently,
mm,
seeing, you know, trips that they wish they took, spending more time with their family, working less, um, just experiences that what they would do in a different way.
mm,
And, you know, recognizing life is so short.
mm.
We have so much opportunity, but also it can be taken away from us at any time.
Oh my
And
God.
it's not to say that we should live life in fear. That was, you know, one of my big fears when coming into the online space is like, do all this stuff now because if you die, you want to make sure that you've done it. And that's definitely not the message. But the message is always take every single moment in your life and make the most of it, because
Mm,
these opportunities never happen again. You know, like when
exactly.
we decided to come here camping, like we kind of just decided and went. Like it wasn't something that we wanted to wait on, because the weather's getting colder and we knew that we wouldn't have a lot of opportunities this year. But
Yeah.
B, I mean, there's nothing that holds us to our home like we can.
Mm,
And we've crafted our life that way,
mm,
through making different choices over the years. I mean, we've always homeschooled our kids, so that, you know, was another thing that COVID, you know, I'm like, oh, we've kind of been preparing for this our whole lives. We've
yeah.
always done this. But you know, the schooling thing, like so many things are different. I don't know what it's the current situation is where you are. But here we're kind of going through another huge wave, and you know, the cases are
Mm-hmm.
going back up, and people
Mm-hmm.
are questioning their decision to homeschool versus putting their kids in school versus, you know, all of
Mm,
the things. And I think we all kind of need to make the best decision for ourselves in the moment and know that that's enough. You know, everyone is
exactly.
doing the best that they can with what they have to work with right now and what we always have to work with. And sometimes we have to look in those deeper areas to
Mm,
recognize that for ourselves and also believe it.
yes. And again, you go back to the enough, right? We go back to the enough of feeling the enough and us being like, what my decision is enough right now. And does it have to change? Will it change? Yes. Oop, 1 second. I'm so sorry.
Mhm.
My mom is calling. Okay.
Hi, Mom.
But like, but like having the decision and holding it, right? And being like, well, this is enough. And also the thing like that just you really like brought me almost into tears was just thinking that I lived like for example, like for me, I lived my life through such restriction. I
Mhm.
lived my life through such obsession over what I wanted to look like. Like for you, the $10,000 business, right? For me, even right now, is at $10,000 as well. But also for my body, for what I desired, I lived 10 years of just chasing something, chasing after it.
Mm,
And there was so much that I missed in between there. There was so much that I missed that I wish I had. Like, I missed moments with my grandmother because I refused to have cake. I missed moments
mm,
with my family because I refused to actually have the food, or I just was too busy at the gym, or because I was chasing something, right? And it
yeah,
ties so much with what you're talking about, because it's the same thing when you are building your business, because you desire this, you want this, but you're so caught up with what you want to finish or where the finish goal is, that you forget in between who you become, right? You
mm,
forget in between the experience, the times that you have and you get to share. Like, I will never have that back. My grandmother is no longer here with me. I will never be able to have another piece of cake with her. I will
yeah.
never be able to have ice cream with her, right? And that is the really hard part, because I really, really wish I did. That one
Yeah.
moment, that one moment, that one time that I just wish I could have back.
Mhm. Mm,
Mm,
sending you hugs.
hugs to
Yeah.
myself.
Yes. We do air hugs these days anyways.
Yes, I know.
But yes, I can relate to that, right? It's reflecting back on those moments and wishing that you maybe made a different choice. But at the same time, when you were in that moment, you thought that that was the best thing.
Mhm. Exactly. Exactly. Because I was too caught up, right? We're too caught up with that. And sometimes I find myself in that rabbit hole. I find myself in that like mouse like trap, right? And
Mhm.
it's like about like taking a step and asking what you say, like, how do I want to feel in this moment? Because what I don't want to remember, I don't want it to feel hustle. I don't want it to feel
Yeah,
like I'm not doing the best by my son. I don't want it to feel like I am missing moments because I desire this, when I can still get that. I know that, but it's
absolutely.
really who I become here that really gets me
Gets you
there.
there. Yeah, absolutely. And if you rewind to who you were 2 years ago versus who you are now, like you wouldn't even recognize yourself. I mean,
Mm-mm.
you have a totally different family, but
Mhm.
like the way that you like if anybody thinks about what happened over the last 2 years, like everything is different. Everything is different
Everything.
than 6 months ago. Everything is different than 3 months ago. Like every day we're growing and evolving and shifting. And when we have situations like you with your grandma with the cake, going back to that moment, you did the best you could in that moment. You did what you knew was the best thing to do.
Mm.
And yes, Melissa now would make a different choice, but we can't go back to that moment and say, I mean, we can go back to that moment and say, I wish I did things differently, but we can't dwell on that and we can't beat ourselves up for something that
Mm.
we feel like we should have done then.
Exactly, exactly. And I feel that because that's why I said it out loud. If I wouldn't have said it out loud, and that's something I wouldn't have said out loud, I would just probably ponder on it and I would sit in
Right.
it, right? And we
Yeah.
talked about this actually, ladies, yesterday. We talked about it with self-love and really not sitting in it, but really,
Mm,
really like like we just can't sit in the feels of this. And you just gotta,
mhm.
okay, how can I move through this? How can I move through this time? And me just even talking out loud or saying it out loud with you, that's how I move through it.
Beautiful.
Mm,
Yeah. And that is so healing, right? When you recognize that for yourself and you can say, when I speak things out loud, I'm able to process, I'm able to move through it, I'm able to navigate and hold myself through that. Like that is power.
yes, exactly. And this is how we rise, ladies. Like, we rise by introspection, right? If we desire, like, you can have whatever you desire when it comes to your body, when it comes to your fitness, when it comes to your health, when it comes to your business, right? Like, you can have all of the things you desire, but who you are in this process, in this time, that's where it all changes. That's the magic.
Absolutely.
That's the
Hmm.
magic there, right? And you will have times, you will have times, of course, that you're going to say, oh, I wish I could have done that better. You're going to have times like, but then
Totally.
guess what? You will have other times that you will do it better. And then you'll be like, oh, I did do it better. Right. And you're like, oh, okay. And then it rolls around again. Right. Like, for example, for me, I know I can do it better, not with my grandmother, but I can do it better with my son. I could do it better with my
Yes.
mom. I could do it better. And the same thing, right, with like possibly like even what you said, it's like you can do it better because now it's like, oh, it could be this easy and I could do it better and I could have the business that I desire. And look at me, I'm over here, I'm camping. Like I could have this, and possibly years ago you wouldn't even have thought that that was even a possibility for you. You
Right.
wouldn't even have thought that was a possibility for you.
Absolutely. And it's just about making those small shifts over time,
Mm,
small intentional actions and shifts over time, because I think so often we think, it needs to be this big monumental change that it's just like one moment where you're like, okay, I'm going to do things differently. And then you're not able to do that because it's too much. Like you look at it and
mm,
you don't even know where
overwhelmed.
to begin and
Yes.
start and where the end is. And how to get there from the A to the B, because
Mm,
there's so many steps that you need to get along the way in order to get to that final destination.
mm,
And it's just not true. Like it's just not true.
exactly.
It's about taking those intentional steps, taking those 1% shifts, taking the opportunities and saying, this time I'm going to eat the damn cake and I'm going to enjoy every single bite.
Oh yes, 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 yes. That's exactly what I do now. I like I
Yeah,
was like, mm-mm, not anymore. It's not tying me down anymore. Like having this, and
totally.
I was, and I've been, and I've always like I ask, but I do ask myself. So this has been key, ladies, for just to really bring it out, that to ask yourself like, how do I want to feel right now, right? And
Mhm.
sometimes you do say no to the cake and
Yeah,
it's okay, right? And sometimes you do say yes to the cake and that's okay. And sometimes you're like, I don't even know, maybe I'll just have ice cream, and you change the thing and you don't even have the cake but you have ice cream instead. Like, and that's okay.
yes.
All of it is okay. It doesn't have to look a certain way, it doesn't have to be a certain way. And however the journey for you, like the journey, possibly like even we'll create as an example, like just the way she has created her business possibly is not going to look the way I'm going to create my business, right? Like no business is the same, no body is the same. So why do we feel like we have it to be a certain way, or do we have to do the certain things? No.
Mhm. Right. Absolutely.
It's
Yeah,
so
it's almost like
beautiful.
you idolize something, right? You put it up there like this is the thing that I want to achieve or I want to strive for, but really is it because you feel like you should in order to get to that,
Mm,
thing?
mm,
And also, what's the internal work that you're doing to get there? Because like I said before, you can have the thing, but you might realize when you get there that that thing's not going to make you happy and that thing's not going to be all that you thought it was going to be. So we really need to
mm,
examine those deeper layers too and say, is this coming from, even in the example of the cake, is this coming from a place of desire? Is this something that is going to make me feel good? Or is this something that I'm doing to like numb and not feel the feelings?
mm. Exactly, exactly.
It's
And
the
it's
intention.
exactly, it's the intention. Like this is what is so intertwined, like business, like the your health, everything is so intertwined together because
Mhm.
it's so intentional. Like you want to come when you desire for the body, when you want it, even through maybe there are some things that you are not capable of doing, right? For example, like if you're not able to work out or if you're not able to do this, it doesn't mean that you can't be the healthiest version of you. It
Right.
can't be the healthiest, the best, most successful part, like you, right? Like you're the most successful Jess that you can be. You can be the most healthiest Jess that you can be. I can be the same way, but it doesn't look a certain way. And
Right.
this is what I feel like it is huge because it's like, oh, when you have the $10,000 or when you drop to the 150 pounds, this is how it's going to look like.
Right.
But it isn't. Oh no, did we lose you? Jess, are you back? Oh, did we lose her? Jess. Lady, I think we lost her. It gave us almost an hour. The universe gave us almost an hour, and then it was like, well, are you back, Jess? Oh my gosh. I think we lost her. Ah, all right, ladies. I believe we lost Jess. As she's coming on, as she's popping on, if she pops back in, do know like Jess is an amazing, amazing, energetic alignment coach for women in business. So if you desire to even have your own business, if you desire to want more, to get deeper and deeper into your passions, the way you desire your purpose, and really feel your purpose. How about maybe not even your business, but what's your purpose? If we are lost in our purpose, then how do you know what you're going to have, right? So, for example, you could potentially start working with Jess, right? So, like Facebook, of course, become her friend. She posts amazing content, Instagram as well, and then her website. Are you back?
I'm back.
You're back. I
Let's
was like,
see.
where
Oh, there
is
we go.
she? There you are. I was like, just talking about you as you, I was like, hopefully she pops back in.
I'm here. We lost connection.
Yay,
Sorry
but
about
I'm
that.
happy you popped in. I'm happy you popped in. But is there anything else that you want to talk about? Questions, ladies? Any questions you have for Miss Jess here as she is here on live?
I'm always open to questions. Love
Yes,
questions.
always open to questions. I know, right? You're like, I love questions. Yes, please. Oh, yes. Mandy was like, she seems frozen. I know, Mandy, she was, but
I
then she was able to
was,
pop
but I'm
on
back.
finally. She was able to pop on actually. So yay, she pops back in. But really this was so amazing, so awesome because it's not, again, ladies, it's not just on how it looks like for you, but the message, the big message out there is to really ask yourself, how do I want to feel? And to really be in the alignment. And this is how we create alignment in your own world in order for you to have whatever you desire. And that could be your
Yes.
business, that could be a better career, right? That could be even scaling from the 9 to 5 that you have and having, let's say, scaling in the 9 to 5. It could be the body, all of this, all it's all tied to how do I want to feel. So don't
Yes.
forget about this. Don't forget on how you want to feel. Don't forget about this. So powerful.
Mhm.
And you still seem a little frozen, beautiful. So it's
Mhm.
okay. It's okay. We did
I'm
it.
here.
It allowed us to do almost an hour. So that was beautiful.
Amazing.
That was so
Amazing.
amazing. Yes. So before we pop out, I actually wanted to remind you ladies that you can can receive an intensive with the beautiful Jess, and that is a part of her giveaway. So that will be a part of her giveaway. And remember how you can actually reach this is by actually taking a screenshot and sharing us. If you tag me and tag her at Jess Garay on Instagram, at Melissa Mejia, at I Am Strong with Melissa on Instagram, and at Melissa Mejia, and Jess here on Facebook. Become friends with her, please. She's such an amazing, energetic woman that she really gets you in the feels when she posts. So it's amazing to just read her content.
Yeah.
She's like, yes.
Thank you.
And you're welcome, beautiful. And as well, don't forget to introduce yourself, right? That's another way to do the giveaway and everything. And I can't wait for the woman that wins this for her, because as you could tell, we go deep. Like we just went so deep in an hour, and this wasn't even my own session. So imagine. Imagine, I just had so many breakthroughs just right here, and we're just having a
Oh, I'm
conversation.
so
So
glad.
imagine.
I'm so glad.
Imagine, ladies. So before we pop out, we actually just wanted to do the giveaway for day 2. the giveaway. So remember, for the giveaways, a lot of the ladies, they did all the things. So this is amazing. And I'm so excited, so excited, so excited. So remember what you can get. You can get $111 off the Love Sanctuary course with Dr. Chelsea Page. And as well, you can get an intensive with Hayla Macedo, which that's amazing. Hayla Macedo. I always mess up her name. Hi, beautiful Michelle. Thank you for popping on. Hi, Melissa. I didn't say hi. I'm so sorry. Okay, so ladies, so whoever wins this, so 2 names. We're gonna pop in with 2 names. All right, name number 1 for the $111 off for Chelsea Page, Helen. Beautiful, beautiful Helen. Beautiful Helen. Congratulations. And then the second, yay!
I love celebrating
this. I love celebrating. Yeah, you're on. You're like, yay! All right, and then the other one for the session with Hayla is Miss Jennifer. Congratulations, Jennifer. Yay. Congratulations, ladies. So if you're like, yes, I can't wait, I'm so excited to win this with Jess, then of course, please enter the giveaways and you can be one of the winners for tomorrow. Yay. Yes. Thank you so much, beautiful Jess. Before we pop out, I'm just going to put the music on, the song. We're just going to do a little dance. And thank you so much for being live with me. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yay. You're very welcome. This is my favorite song. I love this song. It gets me all the time.
Well, I'm glad you shared it with me.
Of course, beautiful. Thank you so much, beautiful ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. You're amazing. Enjoy. Thank you so much for taking the time. Enjoy the camping trip. And I will talk to all of you very, very soon. Thank you for being here in our space. Mwah. Bye, beautiful ladies.